So in this video, we are going to configure an adjust operation. So the adjust operation, if we press F4 here and this one, and press F4 and look for adjust unit operation. So this is our adjust unit operation. I want to add it over here. So this is another logical operation like the balance over here, but the adjust is more like mathematical calculation rather than a physical unit operation that we are going to use. So if we have this unit in our plant and this is our hydrocarbon dew point, and we need to make sure that this unit will be maintained at negative 15 degrees Celsius, which means here I'm adjusting my sales gas to a dew point, and I want to make sure that this dew point will always be negative 15 degrees Celsius. So how to make sure that this temperature will be fixed? We are going to connect it with another stream that affects this temperature. Like if I make sure that this temperature will be adjusted each time to get a result of negative 15 degrees Celsius, this is what adjust is about. We are going to adjust the temperature of this material stream, gas to low temperature separator, to make sure that each time this temperature has a value, the result will end to a target value of a hydrocarbon dew point equal to negative 15 degrees Celsius. To do so, we are going to open our adjust over here by double click on it, and we are going to have this one. Here you can name your unit, like now we are adjusting the dew point temperature adjust. Okay, so here we are adjusting the dew point temperature. One of the variable will be adjusted variable, okay, and the other one will be our target value, the value that we need to make sure that it will be maintained. So here for our adjusted variable, this will be the temperature of the gas to low temperature separator. This is the value that will be independent, okay? So we are going to change it until we reach a dependent variable or the targeted variable over here. So here we are going to start looking for our variable, and in this case we are going to look at the gas to low temperature separator, and we are looking for the temperature. So this one will be gas to LTS, and we are looking here for the temperature. You can write it at the top, or you can keep screening the list, okay? It save more time to write what exactly you are looking for. So here we added the gas to low temperature separator temperature. So this is our adjusted variable that will be changed, and you need to make sure that your gas to this stream temperature or any objective variable is a user defined, because if it is not a user defined you can't change it, okay? So for the targeted value, we are going to select our targeted value to be the hydrocarbon dew point temperature. So this one will be a hydrocarbon dew point, and we adjusting a temperature, so it will make more sense if we are looking for another temperature that we are going to change. So we are going to change the temperature over here to make sure that we are having a specific value over here. The target could be a user specified, or we can choose it from another object, or we can use a spreadsheet. So in this case, I am having a fixed value that the user supplied. I'm going as a user to supply this value to be negative 15 degrees Celsius, which is equal to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So when I added this value, a specified target value of negative 15, it is still not solved over here, okay? So this time we are going to the parameters here, so we can specify a different tolerance or a step size to provide the calculation. So what we are going to add here is we are going to define the tolerance. So in this case the tolerance is 0.1. So you can change the tolerance or stepwise, and after that you can press calculate, okay? So also we can add a minimum and a maximum values or allowable values, like if the temperature can't be less than 0 degrees Celsius and more than 100 degrees Celsius, okay? After adding all the information that you have, you can press start over here. When pressing start, the values will be adjusted to make sure that the dew point will be negative 15. So if we go to the monitor to check exactly what happened, we have 4 iterations or 4 different times of calculation. Here we need to reach negative 15 degrees. So this one is negative 15, which is our time, negative 15.99, which is almost negative 15 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is our target value. At the beginning, in the first iteration, we started with negative 18. We adjusted the value over here. The first time we decrease it, so we find out that it's slightly decreasing. So we need to make sure that we have a higher drop. That's why this time it is lower to negative 8.5, and we find out that our target value is higher than negative 15. So this time we take a value between negative 18 and negative 8, which is negative 15. So it will be adjusted over here to negative 15 degrees Celsius. So this is the residual, which is a tiny amount. So this is the residual. You can set that you don't want a residual to be higher than 0.001, which means each time we have a tolerance to negative 14.991. If you add a residual equal to 0, this target value must be equal to negative 15 exactly. Okay, so this is our adjust unit operation. Again, the adjust unit operation is extremely important, especially if we are doing or going to add a specification, like we are having a targeted value, like a specific temperature, a specific pressure, a specific composition for a specific stream, and we want to make sure that we need to adjust a specific parameters to make sure that we are having a specific value. Like if we open this material stream LTS liquid, and we look for the composition, and I found out that the composition of H2S, or let's be more accurate, like something for methane, it's about 40% of the composition or the molar composition is methane. If I want to make sure that each time, even if a lot of parameter is changing, this value is fixed to 40%, I am going to add another adjust unit operation, and this time I am going to adjust the I know my targeted value. My target value here is the composition of methane in this LTS, and I want the value to be fixed to 0.4. okay, and again I'm going to look for another adjustable value. What is the value that I can adjust to make sure that I'm having a composition over here? Like you can make sure that the composition over here, we have a fixed composition over here in this one of the methane. So the methane, each time I need to make sure the value is adjusted over here. So the composition over here is adjusted to make sure that each time I'm having 0.4. So this is a simple math calculations. You have a targeted value. You need to look for a value to get adjusted to make sure that you are going to achieve this specific value. So in this one, we are using adjust.